It's always difficult to do priorities in research because we do need the basic research on which you can build implementation research and develop impact. You can translate it to make a difference for all of us, whether it's us as humans, whether it's for our food chain, or indeed the environment. But I think while we do need the basic, what we have insufficient of is an understanding of how to just do our everyday business and mitigate AMR. And I would argue that a lot of the problems are behavioural. So the more we bring in social sciences as we go forward, the better. After all, doctors know what to do, but they still don't practice perfect IPC. That's just one example. Well, as we slide towards a post-antibiotic era, I would argue we must have better diagnostics and new drugs and approaches. It may be that we could use phage or other methodologies, but we've got to have new treatments. However, we also need to understand how to translate the research we have, how to improve surveillance so we not only have data, but it means something. And action is taken, whether it is the point prevalence studies in hospitals, and we don't do point prevalence studies generally in food farms, do we? So there's a lot to do. I've always admired JPIAMR, and to see it at the end of its evolution and the 31 countries or more collaborating just shows that value of international collaboration. You bring different strengths from different universities and different companies and everything in to make sure you get the best research, but we break down barriers by working together, and we also make sure we're not just repeating stuff that was done in one country because we're doing it as teams. I think the collaborations and partnerships of JPIAMR are wonderful. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really looking forward to seeing how One Health AMR on behalf of the EU does develop. And I think the One Health bit is difficult. Different languages, but what you've already done is you've moved into a position of trust with these different groupings. When I first started working in this field, I found the human side were all saying, it's the food chain that did it all, and the food chain was saying, we're not going to talk to you because we don't do it all. And so you have to build trust, get rid of the blame, and start to say, we have a problem. It impacts humans, it's killing many. We predict up to 39 million by 2050. It's impacting the food chain. If we only got it right, we'd be billions better off in economies across the world and work together. And you're managing that in JPIAMR, and that will transfer into the new EU OHAMR. What a mouthful. Well, I'm thrilled at the way Europe leads, but reaches out and gets in other partners. And I think that is the way to do good research, but also to make sure it translates into action. And so I see much more of the coming together and then translation and helping those of us like me on the more policy side actually pick up the research and use it. And I think the next decade for OHAMR is going to be about that. I would love everyone in the world to understand the values of anti-infectives. We generally talk about antibiotics, but it's antifungals, it's antivirals, it's antiparasitics. And to have effective diagnostics so that they only use the anti-infectives when they are truly needed, and it's the right one. Underpinning that are all sorts of other bits about behaviour and diagnostics and everything. But wouldn't that be utopia?